Um, hey guys, so this is just a little bit of going over NAND Flash. For anybody who wanted that, I'm just gonna share screen. But okay, so basically, when you're looking at a flash memory cell, it kind of looks like the MOSFETs that we've seen before, except for one important thing, which is this extra floating gate over here. And basically, the way you can tell whether a flash cell has been programmed or not programmed, or is by looking at this floating gate and whether or not it has electrons sitting there. So that brings into question, like, how are electrons going to get into this floating gate? And for that, we're going to look at, where is it? Yeah, hot electron injection. So basically what that means is we're going to give 10 volts to the gate, like the main gate, and 7 volts over here. And the reason for that is like 7 volts is a high voltage, but it's not as high as this 10 volts. And so what this is doing is basically giving the electrons in this N like pit over here, it's getting them really, really excited. And so they're going to start moving towards this higher voltage over here, 7 volts. And some of them are going to get excited enough to go through this tunneling oxide layer. They're going to like burrow through and land in the floating gate. They're not going to have enough like excitement to get all the way up to like this gate here. But some of them will get to, some of the electrons will get to the floating gate, and others will just like kind of pass into here. So then once we remove that 10 volts, there's not gonna be a channel, and those electrons that have like jumped up will stay there. And so now it's programmed, and remember, like, it's a little counterintuitive. So this is gonna be a logic 0, even though it's like programmed. And so one thing to remember is, like, because of this hot electron injection, right? Like, the way we're getting these electrons up is by like basically like shooting them through the tunneling oxide. And so as they like burrow through more, that layer gets more and more deteriorated. And that's why NAND Flash has a limited life cycle. So there's only a certain amount of times you can make it go through this process. And that's why you have to, like, after the life cycle has expanded and this oxide layer is kind of deteriorated, it's not going to program and erase the way you want to. So you're going to have to replace the entire like SSD or whatever you're using. Also remember that, like, to erase it, you have to like ground it over here, and you're getting this whole like P pool. I forgot what the actual word is. This like large 15 volts, and that's gonna basically drag these electrons back down to erase it. And because you're charging this entire channel over here, you have to erase a whole chunk of flash cells at one time. So that's just something to remember. So then kind of like the trickiest part about this is understanding how to tell whether something is programmed or not. So there's going to be a couple different things. So there's like, so if it's not been programmed, there's no electrons in that floating gate layer, right? So if we apply some, like, we can call it like a medium voltage V read, it's going to look kind of like your regular like NMOS or whatever. This medium voltage, we're going to get current flowing through here. And so like that's kind of intuitive. But if it has been programmed, this medium level voltage, when you give it to the cell, it's not going to be it's not going to cause enough like excitement for these N channels to be connected for like current to flow through there, because these electrons are like a barrier in a sense. And so this same medium voltage V read, you're still going to read an off. And in order to get current flowing on a programmed state, you're going to give to the gate this V pass, which is basically just a really high voltage. And that's the one that's going to cause the current to flow. And so what this means is like, if we want to read this, if we like, and by read I mean like see, like you want to see if it's programmed or erased. You want to see this v read. Sorry, like you want to see if this cell that I've highlighted is programmed or erased, right? So for every other cell that is in series with it, we're going to give vpass to the gate. And basically this, like, we don't care whether these other cells are programmed or erased, like whether they're ones or zeros. We're just going to make current flow through all of them because that's what vpass does, right? No matter what, if it's programmed, it's going to have current flowing. And if it's not programmed, this vpass is going to be over here. I hope you can see my mouse. And it's just going to have current flowing still. And so we're going to give vpass to all of them. And then we're going to apply vread to the gate of the cell that we want to look at. And so if we apply vread and there we see that there's no current flowing through this cell, that means that like we're looking at it over here, right? So vread didn't cause current to flow, so that cell must be programmed. On the other hand, if vread did cause current to flow, then that means that we must be looking at this graph over here, where vread causes current to flow, and so then we would know it's erased. Yeah, I hope that gives a little bit of clarity to NAND Flash, and good luck with your exam.